Hello everyone, and welcome to my review of the Rogue One Imperial Assault Hovertank. I haven't seen Rogue One yet, but I'm going soon, and I'm really looking forward to that. I love the box art for the new Rogue One sets, and it reminds me of the scene in the trailers where the Hovertank is shown, and it looks like it's going to be an awesome vehicle in the film. The Death Trooper on the side, I think, makes a really good new sort of profile character for the Rogue One sets, and I can't wait to get my hands on the minifigures, especially Chirrut Imwe, who looks awesome as the main character. But the Hovertank pilots, as like the closest things we get to Stormtroopers in this wave, also look really good. So I'm going to open this in a bit. Let's just take a quick look at the back of the box as well, because that's quite interesting. Annoyingly, LEGO's still advertising its Force Builders app here. I mean, I've tried the app and it's alright, but it's nothing that interesting. And it's annoying that they have to keep plugging it on the back of the boxes. It looks like there's some cool features to the set here. The roof seems to open for like a cockpit, and the turrets look pretty cool. So I'm certainly looking forward to building this, and I'll be back when I've built it. This is the Imperial Assault Hovertank. It is ages 7 to 12, set number 75152, comes with 385 pieces, and it retails for £30 or $30. This is an awesome set which I just got yesterday, and now I'm reviewing it, and I really love building it. There's nothing really that bad about this set at all. It comes with 3 great minifigures who I'll talk about in a moment, and it has a good number of features. It also fills a gap in the LEGO sort of market, because it's a tank set. You don't really get many ground vehicles other than, you know, AT-ST Walkers, AT-RTs, AT-ATs, AT-DPs, like everything. You get loads of those, but there's not many others apart from that. So let's get into the minifigures first, and then we'll take a look at the set itself. So firstly, we have the new Hovertank pilots, who look really good as minifigures. They have the same helmet mould, not printing or colour as the Shore Trooper, but they have the same mould, so that's interesting, but they still look very different in general. They have really detailed chest printing all over, and I like the utility belt they're wearing. Their leg printing is completely new, and it's interesting how it's in all black this time rather than being more similar to the usual predominantly white colour that they use. On the back, there's not as much detail, but it still looks really cool, and he has some interesting backpack which all of the armoured troopers seem to have. He also has black gloves, which is my favourite type. You get 2 of this minifigure, and I'm really happy that you do, because it helps you collect more of them. He, as most troopers do, has an angry clone face, which also obviously has no alternate face. But to be honest, it's more of a trooper face these days. Now let's take a look at the most interesting figure of the set, which is, of course, Chirrut Imwe. So I've decided to show him with his weapons, because they're a key feature to him as a minifigure. I'll take them off in the next clip, but firstly let's take a look at his general shape. He has a very nice staff, which is made up of some gunmetal grey lightsaber hilts and some wooden poles, which is to hold in a bit of an awkward position, but that's fine. He also has a LEGO built crossbow on his back, which is really nice, and it has some of those old teeth pieces in gold, and in general it's really cool. I'll show you that individually. But now let's take a look at the minifigure without his weapons. You'll notice one of his hands is coloured white. This might be due to it being robotic, or he might just be wearing a glove. I'm not too sure about that. But overall, I love this minifigure. The chest printing is as detailed as ever. And unfortunately, he has black trousers, but that's absolutely fine, because make up for that with the brand new style of dress or skirt, that sort of thing. It looks a bit like a sort of Scottish kilt, and it wraps around in a new style that we haven't seen before. It looks really cool, and it goes round to the back with just more standard style. It's made of the old material, but this makes sense because it has to hold its shape quite rigidly. He has a clip on his back, which I'll take off to show you his back printing. You'll notice that it's rather plain, but it just looks like he's got his cloak on, and that's it. But to be honest, since it's usually covered by his crossbow, that's fine. This is a good chance to show you the alternate face, which is more of a sort of stern look, whereas the first face was more of a grin / smirk. And overall, I love this minifigure. Let's take a quick look at his crossbow by itself. It's built using a rifle piece and one of these cross T-section pieces, if you want to call it that. It has some of the old bone pieces, and at the front it's just slightly extended to make it a bit longer. And I think it's a brilliant use of Lego pieces, and I'm glad they didn't just give us a new mould for it. So that's Chirrut Imwe, and now I'll talk about my final thoughts to the set. Now, the overall design aesthetic of the set itself just looks really nice. It's very utilitarian, so it's quite plain and doesn't have the sleek looks of some of the other things like the Imperial Shuttle and the Slave One, those sort of sets. But that just adds to the design because that's what it's meant to be. It has a perfect sort of ratio of studs to tiles just so it looks smooth enough, but it has some spaces to pose minifigures, that sort of thing. And it has some very nice assemblies here which are all separate. They can come off quite easily, but not so easily that they'll fall off, obviously. It also can roll, which is very nice, and it has some useful features at the front, which I'll talk about now. It comes with blasters here, which you can rotate up and down. However, these ones will not rotate. The spring-loaded shooters are very nicely hidden under here, so that when you just twist this little gear here, they fire from under the ship, under there, which you can just make out, and they're really nicely integrated. That's one of the best jobs they've done. And it seems that LEGO is finally beginning to realise that we really want them to be integrated well, so they don't take away from the design. There are 2 designated spots for minifigures, and that's in the interior of the set. You can open it here, and you can open this hatch here to reveal 2 Imperial Hovertank pilots. Taking the minifigures out, you can see it's quite a bland interior. Unfortunately, LEGO hasn't really tried too hard to make it too detailed, and there's no sort of control panels for them to drive it, unfortunately. You can see they're also not attached by studs. They just sort of get placed in with their legs on those pieces, and then they can lean back against the seat behind them, like this. So that's the best way of doing that. When the doors are closed, you can take one of their guns and you can put it as a weapon in the top there. I guess one of them can shoot it when they're operating the tank. Unfortunately, this door here is quite difficult to stay open. It'll quite often just flip back shut, so you have to make sure it's rested down before it will stay open. You may have noticed that on the back of the Hovertank there's an orange crate, and this is a very nice build. And let's take a look at that individually. It's a really nice design, and I love how my LEGO has managed to shape it into a sort of circular shape, just using cheese slopes and that sort of thing. You can open it up, and this part has handles on it so the stormtroopers can carry it, or the Hovertank pilots, or anyone. Inside we have a gun, which is just a small pistol, and I'm not sure the technical term, but they look a bit like our binoculars. The hatch fits very nicely on top, and overall it's a really nice assembly. You may have noticed that there's only space for 1 orange box on the back. I don't think that's too much of a problem, especially since there's going to be a new one of those crates coming out in the Battle of Scarif if you really want to have another one. Other people have complained about the contrast between the grey of the ship and the orange of the crate, but I really like that, as it just means like it doesn't blend in and it stands out as some cargo, which in my opinion is a good thing. So overall, this is a really awesome set, and even without the minifigures, it is a really nice build. It's similar in size to something like the First Order Transporter, however it doesn't have as many pieces, obviously. That's just to give you a sense of the length. And I think it's a good one to get multiples off if you're into doing that sort of thing. Now let's just do some final thoughts for the set. It comes with a good selection of minifigures. I love how they've given us 2 of the Hovertank pilots, and Chirrut Imwe was a great addition. He is probably one of the best minifigures from Rogue One, and so are the Hovertanks, but I'll decide on my favourites when I get some of the other sets. I love the build as well. It comes with very well integrated features, and it looks really good, as well as having that utilitarian Empire feel to it. And it's the sort which will probably work really well in any mock that you want to do. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I would say definitely get this set. It's worth £30 and especially $30, whichever way. So I hope you enjoyed my review of it, and I'll see you all for my future Rogue One reviews and my Christmas special. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.